What's up? What's up? What's up, TPG? Wacky Wayland, Breaking Free, or apartment maintenance couple. Abraham Perez. What's up? Some way. You all got you the. I guess I gotta keep my mic close, but the special edition Harbor Freight hat yet. $6.99. What's up, Chris? What's up, Boredom? And at Harbor Freight, their hats are premium quality. I saved that sticker on there just to show y'all that. What's up, Matt HMM? Yeah, I needed a little pick set. So I went to Harbor Freight and got this Icon pick set. I don't know if it's any good or not, but I just needed a set for something I'm going to be doing. And I didn't have any here in my garage. So I decided I'd pick up this set since it's something I don't use very often. And they had these hats up by the register, and they were limit one per customer, but they were only $6.99. And that's a good, like, I like these hats with the trucker style on the back. That's pretty much what I wear all the time. So I bought it for a work hat. What's up, Clint Co? I barely remembered Breaking Free, but I did remember. Fresh out the gate, Mr. Morgan's Maintenance. Do you like your SPMC? Yeah, so far I do. It fits really nice in my truck right there as soon as I open my door, and I've liked it pretty well. I've used it quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. What else was I getting ready to say? So you're a mesh head. Yeah. Oh, I was going to tell you about the internet. So y'all can let me know if it messes up any and gets blurry, because sometimes it doesn't show up on my stuff. But so I've got a mesh router set that has three. And I want to say the one that was actually, like, you have to pick one of those to be your router in a way whenever you set it up, one of the three. And I think the one that was closest to my modem that got zapped, that was my router one. So I swapped it out. I had to reset my whole system, and I put my new one as the router. And then it says I got a great connection out here now, but I'm hoping it wasn't that I had a bad connection. It was just basically there was something going on where it was turning itself off ever so often. So I've noticed that it's been a little bit better. I just did it yesterday, and my internet on my phone and all that seems like it's been better. So hopefully it'll be good. That hat will look awesome with your new headphones on the mower. Little Debbie on his mind. I saw y'all were talking about going to the grocery store and getting the clearance stuff. I was scrolling up through there before I got on here, and I do that all the time too. I'm that way with everything at the grocery store. I go to the clearance meat and I go to the clearance bakery, and that's pretty much what I eat. I don't buy anything regular price. That's tool money that you're wasting right there. You got your MCTP loaded up, waiting for your video to get ideas. Thanks. Not yet. I haven't even really had time to. The last 2 weeks have been like probably my busiest 2 weeks of the year so far. I don't know if everybody got their tax refund money back or what, but I've just had nonstop jobs getting at it, and I'm doing my big job. I actually had two kind of decent sized jobs going on. I had the quadplex going on all the time, but I had another decent sized job going on, and then I had like tons of people call me in the last couple of weeks asking me to do some stuff. So I've been pretty busy. Noticing a crackling and popping in the audio for a few lives now. Image is great though. Okay. I might need to clean out my port on the phone where my mic plugs in. Or I'll swap over to, I'm going to swap over to this one. We'll see. We'll go ahead and test that since you said that. I'm going to turn this one off. Swap over to this one. Maybe it's a bad microphone. Don't give me an excuse to go buy a DJI microphone. So I got some tools I got to clean, so I was just going to do it while we're talking because I got home like very little before time to start. I worked pretty late today, and I was doing landscape lights, and it started raining on me, so all these tools got rain and stuff on them, so I'm just going to make sure I spray them down pretty good with super slick stuff and clean them. Soft staticky pop. So I had two things break on me today. Two things. One was my Milwaukee knee pads. I've had these for basically whenever they came out. I don't remember how many, seems like not very long, but whenever Milwaukee started releasing all these knee pads, that's when I bought this pair right here. But one of my kind of mounts or whatever, I don't know what you'd even call that, broke off on me today, which stinks. And then if I look at the other one, let me come around so I can see, make sure y'all are seeing it right. This one's already about to, I could probably, yeah, you can kind of see it right there. I could probably break that off if I wanted to. Yep. It was about to, I could tell it whenever I looked at it. So I was wanting to find that. It stinks. I don't know where it went, probably under my toolbox. Oh, I see it. It almost looked like it had wood inside of it or something. No, it's a little rubber star. So however long I've had these, again, since they came out, that's how long they lasted. But they kicked the bucket today on me. So I had to go to Home Depot because I was working out in really wet grass because it started raining on me. So I went and bought these Husky ones for like 20 something bucks, 25 bucks just to use basically today. And I'm going to go ahead and leave these in my truck and keep these as my going into a crawl space and nasty jobs type thing. But I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a pair of knee pads today because I kind of want to buy me either the smaller version of the Pro knees. They're like 99 bucks. Or I can't remember what the name of that. There's a knee pad brand that starts with an F that I keep seeing a lot of them. And they kind of look like Pro knees, like Finto or something like that. I don't know if any of y'all have got any of those. What you think about those? But my Milwaukee ones kicked the bucket. I'm going to save all these things. I already took the other two off. These little, I can come up with something to use with that. Those will be good on the infrared bag for something. And then I thought about even cutting off these little, of course, I'm getting kind of pack radish because I doubt I ever use them, but the grips on these, because these are basically identical to these Huskies, and then that way if something breaks, maybe I can put these back on. So I might end up saving these things off here too. And then they'll sit in here for 20 years. Wacky said, is it warranted? I doubt it. I don't know if it is or not. Doesn't DJI require a license to use their hardware? I don't know. I know the DJI microphone hooks right up to that new camera that I bought, and you don't even have to have like a thing or anything. Tomorrow, if the weather holds out, and I might try to film it, but I'm going to reinforce some shutters. Basically, they want me to just put black Tapcons and Tapcon them up, and then I got to crawl in their crawl space and put up some insulation. I'm just going to use HVAC strapping where they got some falling down. They had a pest control guy go in there and say that they had some insulation falling, and they want me to fix that. So I might get my camera out and try it in a crawl space just to see what it looks like. I really like the Lift brand knee pads. I don't think I've seen them. Like I said, I know it's a brand with F and they're orange and black. And I want to say they're like Finto or something like that. Just stumbled on this channel by chance. What's up, Fossil Channel? None of these knockoffs are as good as the original or whatever. Even Ox knockoffs of Oxygen and Leather are only okay. We can always use new. Watch me work. Yeah, I haven't. I've had some stuff that maybe not really though, because every job I've went to in the last little bit, you know, I've been working around the people a lot, and I don't like filming around like the people that I'm working around, like whether it's homeowner or whatever. And then most of the time, most of my work was in doctors' offices and stuff like that. And like I said, anytime I go in there, I don't even ask them, you know. I'm here because I heard you broke something. What's up, Backwoods? Another thing that broke, and I'm pretty sad about, and this was a my fault thing. So the Milwaukee ones, I'm not going to dog it because I've had them for again a while, and they stay in the back of my truck and in the under my camper topper and all that. I'm charging my wolf box, but I dropped the wolf box, which the tool is fine, 100%. Like it didn't hurt it at all. And I dropped it a pretty good ways. I mean, and it hit concrete, so it held up. But I had this one in there, and it came off whenever it fell. And one of the little you can see the tab on this side, and that tab on this side broke off. So now whenever I turn it on, it blows off. It won't stay on there. So that stinks. But I was already going to cut off my other one to make it a short one anyway, so that's all right. But the tool withstood the drop fine, so that's good. Also got the wolf box is a lead weight. Yeah. What's up, Don? Mendenhall. Love tools. Cool to see a live stream on them. So I bought this at Lowe's, and I've used it on my last job, and it's kind of something you can't really. I mean, I guess I could make a video, but probably not. This will be the money shot of it, anyways, right here. So Milo's had these on clearance the other day, and they're not really that much off. I think they're normally $39, and I think they were on sale for $30, $32. It wasn't like it was a ton of money off, but I went ahead and picked it up. So it's a paint tray, and I usually use like a paint tray and just put those liners in it and just throw them away. I don't like cleaning stuff, but there's been a ton of times where I need one and I don't have any, or, you know, this is going to save me all that money all the time if I'm only going and doing one paint. And the nice thing about this one too is, so I painted with this one day. I think I painted really over the course of 3 days and just kept putting this top on my paint. And every time I opened it, it was just like it was whenever I put this top on there. So it kind of keeps the paint wet and all that stuff too. So that's the biggest bonus to me of using it. And then you're also supposed to, it's all silicone, which this is silicone. This is silicone. It fits into a tray like that. But then you're supposed to also, like, once this paint dries, you're supposed to just let it dry. I haven't done this yet, so I saved this just for you guys. You're supposed to just be able to grab it and pull it right out of here. I'm sure there'll be a little stragglers where you got like just some little sprays. I'm gonna see if I can get all of it at one time. Yeah. Yeah. Boom. Not too bad. I said all this stuff on the side and all that kind of stuff, you're going to have to go back and, which it scrapes right off. Like it's not hard to get it off, but you'll have a little bit of cleaning. So, I mean, if you buy a whole lot of disposable liners, then I mean it's still handy. Like sometimes if you're doing normally, like if I'm going somewhere and I put up new drywall and then I'm going to prime it and then I'm going to paint it, I use a disposable liner. But what I do now is I take a disposable liner with me, put it in this and do my primer, and then I use this for the paint. And then that way, while the first coat's drying on the paint or whatever, I just put this back on there, and then whenever I take it back off, it's been good. So I really like it. Again, I've only used it on one job so far, but pretty nice. I put it in the shop button if you want to look at it. It's at you can buy it. It was in stores at Lowe's is where I got it, but you can get it at Home Depot too. I think online. I don't think my store didn't have it, but you can get it online. And that's better than cleaning something. We used to say in the Army, if we ain't breaking stuff, we ain't working hard enough. Matt HMM, my purple vessel USB lost the bearing. Yeah, he told me that, so he's got to fix that. Looks like a cast row dish cover. Todd Turner said, not bad, really. Yeah, I really like it. Cody said, my buddy does a ton of painting. Yeah, like I said, the cleanup is really nice, but to me, the biggest thing is, especially like my finished paint, like you're always going to almost always do 2 coats, and you can kind of leave that paint in there while that first coat's drying and then just take that lid off. And I did that with that, and it was perfect. The paint was fine. I didn't have any like little film in it or anything like that. What brand is the paint tray? It's called Repaint, REPAINT tray, Repaint tray. And that's the only name I saw on it. If you search that, if you Google it, you'll find it, because I Googled it to see if it was available anywhere else. And like I said, I saw it. I bought it at Lowe's in the store. It's on Lowe's.com and it's on HomeDepot.com. Abraham said that was quite satisfying. You guys ever done anything with the dental repair industry? It's the industry I work in. Would like to show my tool setup and van setup, Don said. I don't think so, and I don't think we've had anybody on the guess the trade thing either. So, but now you've told us what you do now, so be hard to not guess it. What's this thing called? Repaint tray. Paint tray. Smart with the silicone paint tray. Might have to look into that. Got to paint the house more this season. Yeah, like I said, I never clean like painting. If I mix up a bucket of thin set, all that kind of stuff, I don't go in. I mean, unless I absolutely use all the thin set and it's going to be super easy to clean that bucket. It's like the amount of money to the time it takes to clean that kind of stuff, it's not worth it. So a lot of times I just throw that kind of stuff away. That's why I've always used the liners, but I don't mind that. That's pretty. And like I said, it's the cleanup's one part of it, but I think the biggest part of it for me is that it does keep the paint like wet. Don't get in the weeds. What's up, Sam Held? Depends on what paint. Out local Miller paint. I can one coat stuff. If it's not a horrible surface. Yeah, if I mix the primer, usually if I do a primer coat but get the primer tinted, you can kind of get away with one coat. But most of the time, I just use white primer just because I keep a ton of it, and I don't want to spend. Like the only time I would go get it mixed is if I knew I was going to use pretty much all of it, type thing. But a lot of times, I'm just doing a small patch, and then I'm priming that, and then I paint the whole wall, usually corner to corner or something like that. Any suggestions for a case for the Milwaukee extended reach ratchet? I can't find anything. No, I don't know. I don't even know how long. I don't have that one, so I don't even know how long that is. You would think it would fit in but then I wonder if you could take let me see if I got an empty one, maybe which it would probably fit in a regular organizer, but I don't know if the front side of it is. Let me see how this works out. I don't know if you're in pack out or not or anything like that. Man, that's got something in it too. Let me see what I got on this one. Yeah, see, so I don't think that would probably work. my old ones you might can make work, but yeah, the way they got that divider in the middle of a regular organizer, it wouldn't work. But let me get a deep one out and I'll kind of show you that. But a deep one's probably too much. You know, you wouldn't want to pack that around unless you want to put a bunch of sockets and stuff like that in there with it. Let me get this. This one's got plugs and all that stuff in it, but if I remember right. Yeah, so the deep one has the divider like this, and you could probably put the ratchet in this, I would think. But this is probably way too big than what you're looking for. I don't know what kind of case you're looking for, but then you could put sockets and all that kind of stuff inside of something in this one too, maybe. But I don't know of any other pack outs, like I said, unless it fits this way. But I would think an extended reach one won't, because it seems like my regular one's probably about that big. I don't think you'll fit it in any of the other ones. So, and are you wanting like a hard case or bag type thing? I bought silicone covers for wood glue from Rockler. They work great. Yeah, and if you do wood glue very often, I just finally got this out. I mean, this isn't anything new. What I do with them. Everybody might even already have them by now. But I just used them for the first time. I bet it sit here on my shelf for probably a year. Oh, they're over here. Yeah. But I liked it so much. So on all that trim casing and all that kind of stuff, you saw a little bit of it if you watched the upholstery pouch video where I was doing it. That's where I was showing me using it. So on all those, I was biscuiting and then pocket holing those and putting them together. So I've had this, y'all may have seen it in videos. It's set up there forever, and I just never got around to using it because most of the time I'm not using wood glue in really big quantities. So I just take my, container like this and use it 90% of the time. But since I was doing a lot, I went ahead and put it in this. I only bought this small one, but man, this is phenomenal if you do a lot of wood glue. I mean, night and day squeezing it out of this versus one of these. So went ahead, me and my buddy were using this, and then he liked it so much that he went to, and you can get these at Menards. If you've got a Menards, you can get them in store. He bought me the bigger one. But man, I don't know if I'd ever do enough to do that, but they are really nice. You can, because the big thing about them, in case you don't know anything about them, is you can basically squeeze wood glue out from like that position. You don't have to be upside down or anything. You can pretty much get it anywhere you want to. What's up, Killtronics? What's up, Roy Phipps? Good paint is worth it. Yeah, 100%. Never buy. I always buy really good paint. It's so silly to buy cheap paint. You end up doing way more coats that cost you the same amount of money. It's like, but it's more labor. 14 inches ish. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fit in any of the regular ones. I'm truly getting rid of my Milwaukee rolling box to get the Klein rolling box with the 2-drawer and get the adapter bracket so I can still mount on my Milwaukee. Has anyone done this yet? I've got a video for it. I've got it on mine. So I don't have it on the rolling box, but I've got it on the single drawer in the back of my truck. So I don't know if you've seen that video. I've got one here. I'll just, hopefully my internet won't go too bad. I'll show you real fast. It's parked right out here, so. Oh, maybe I'm back in here. I don't know if I'm back in here or not. Back in here now, I think. Anybody hear me yet? Note to self, don't go outside. Windows XP joke. That's all Don Mendenhall's fault. So y'all didn't get to probably see any of that I was just showing you. But anyways, I've got a video of it. I just went out there to my truck to show you how I've got it snapped into it. And I said the only thing that I was curious about is how well that 3D printed plate will hold up over the course of time, like in my camper topper. I don't know if I cut out before or after that or anything like that. That's the only thing I'm worried about, but it's been holding up fine so far. Question, Rowdy, do you plan on making a loadout video of your MCTP? Yeah, I will eventually. I don't know when, but I will eventually. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, something else I got, and you guys can let me know. I'm thinking about recording it, but I may or may not. I don't know. I saw this on Facebook. I'm going to do this, I think. I bought this from Great Lakes Power Tools, something like that. I bought something else from Milwaukee. I bought my saw guide for my M12 saw from them too. It's got like grease on it. So I bought a 1/4-inch anvil. So this will take 1/4-inch sockets. Should take 1/4-inch sockets. Not very easily. What am I doing wrong there? Oh, it's got like a... So should be able to put 1/4-inch sockets on there. I think it's because I can't press on it real hard with it being in my hand like that. So I'm going to take the... they did it on Facebook on this M12. The one with the 3 lights, the newer one. But I asked them in the comments of that if it would work on this M12, which is the older style, and they said it should. So I'm going to take this one apart, take this collet out of it, and put this in there, and then make this a 1/4-inch driver. So yeah, and I know you can put a socket adapter inside of this, but that's going to make it to where I can put the socket pretty much right up here on the tool itself and not have any extension or anything to get me in tight spots. And I don't need a 3/8 one because I've got the 3/8 stubby. So I'm just gonna, this is basically an extra one that I'm probably never going to use that much anyways, and I can always put an adapter to go from this to a bit if I want to, but I'm going to make this just be a 1/4-inch impact that sits out here in my garage, so that if I'm using 1/4-inch sockets, I can just throw them on there. So I'm going to try that. Square pin round hoe, hog ring. It's been a dodge the rain week for me this week. That's what it's been for me too. And then the weather people have been horrible about saying it was going to rain at a certain time or day, and then it didn't, and then it did rain the times they didn't. They were like way off. What's up, Elliot Parrish? I'm going to scoot that camera some up. Yeah, I expected them sockets to fit on there better. I'm going to get me a different 1/4-inch socket that's not the... And I got my crimp connectors out here. I don't need to clean them, but I'm just making sure that I got a lot of rain inside this box. So I'm letting those air out. That box air out. Grab a small Craftsman 1/4-inch socket over here. See if that fits on there better. Yeah, that's not going on there super easy. There we go. Yeah, it went on there easy once I pressed. So it was because I don't have a lot of, without being able to have that in a tool, there's not a lot of, I can't get a lot of grip on it to pull it on and off. I don't know if any of y'all have done that or not, or if you want me to film doing it, if any of you think you might would want to do it. Facebook ad must be a good product. Well, it wasn't a Facebook ad. It was a Milwaukee Deals Group or something like that. There was somebody in there that did it. Cut out as soon as I went outside. I wonder if whenever I go outside, which I still can't believe it would be closer, like if it's trying to connect to my other mesh, like think it's closer to that or something. I don't know. I'm about ill with all the internet stuff. Cleaning time. How do you like your Harbor Freight hat? For $6.99, I like it. I mean, I thought it's a pretty nice looking hat. And like I said, I wear these trucker hats. That's what I like to wear to work in. Clint Cole said, film it. You can pre-crimp that high ring tighter. Yeah, I might do that. I'll watch the Anvil ad. Man Caver Tools did that years ago, even with the Bosch Freak. Yeah, I'm hoping, and I don't know why it wouldn't. I'm sure they're the same, but I'd rather do it on this one. But even if I have to, I'll do it on that one, and I'll save this one to drive because both of these are kind of just my around the house. I use my Surge all the time in my truck. Like I don't even take those impacts with me. They're too loud to use all the time. After speaking with the TTI rep, it's not sounding too good for deals on Milwaukee next quarter. Yeah, that's what I had heard. And then I think it was Abraham sent me an email about like some increases on pricing or something along those lines. Most of the time, all the deals at Home Depot, for the most part, unless it's some kind of buy more, save more, where you can hack something like crazy or whatever. But even I'm at the stage now where most of the hacks are all tools that I've already got and I don't even need them. So I'm not buying them anyway. So my freight doesn't have them hats yet. Yeah, I just so happened to be in there. Like I said, I was buying that pick set and they were up there by the cash register and they said you could only buy one, like it was limited one per customer. So I thought they must be something pretty new. What case should I purchase for my safety glasses, night eyes, or no cry? Yeah, that I don't know. I don't ever carry. I've got safety glasses in my truck, but I'll just be honest with you, I don't hardly ever use them because I just wear my regular glasses. Loud like that new M12 compact. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me if I'm gonna buy that M12 compact too, and I just don't see any need for it for me. Even for the usual Father Days deals. I bet they'll have like all that kind of stuff. Like they'll probably have like the saw blades and the drill bit. They probably have so many of those already sitting over here somewhere that they don't even have to pay tariffs on them if they didn't want to. You're so unsafe. Well, at least now I've got regular glasses that I wear. I used to just do the safety squint all the time. Side eye protection, who needs that? Hit these one more time, just let some stuff sit on them. The old crimper got a workout today. Dollar store has glass case for $1. I did get the Klein Complete Connect set on Woot Saturday, $10 off with the extra 10%, so basically $20 off. The complete set's not a bad deal to me. I would have bought that over buying the two sets together if I was going to go back and buy the two sets, because the bigger sizes that come in the individual sets, like they're all sizes I very rarely am ever going to use, and I'd rather save $50, you know. But I very rarely even use the socket ones. I pretty much only use the pass through ones. We're all bad about safety glasses, not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I wear them all the time. I've started to get better at hearing protection. That was something else I very rarely. Now, whenever I worked in factories, you had to wear it all the time, so I wore it all day long, and safety glasses and steel toe boots. But working out, doing maintenance like residential and stuff like that, I'm not very good about putting it on all the time. I want to attach the case to my bag. Yeah, I worked on landscape lights and an outside speaker today. It's probably the first time I've done anything with those, and I don't know how long. I'm not going to buy any new tools. Yeah, I've bought a few things in the last little bit. Most of them are things I'm probably going to make a video for. But there's nothing really that big and fantastic like that. It's like wow type thing. Then I also got in another new light from Woobin that's going to get released on May the 8th, I think it is. So I can't do anything with it until May the 8th. I'm not going to buy any tools. And Robert said lies. I wear expensive safety glasses like the one from OPE stores, chainsaw glasses. They hold up. Yeah, like I said, well, for one, I can't hardly see that well anymore not wearing glasses. So I'd have to go get prescription safety glasses if I was going to wear them. But for the most part, I just use my glasses as it. I've seen enough grinder wheels break. Safety glasses are a must. See ya, Sam. What's the best way to anchor cabinets in a metal stud where there's no wall backing? Installed. So you can use, if you can drill the holes, let's see. I'm going to leave my phone in here, but I should have some in here. Yeah, I got some in here. It's a little tricky sometimes, but it's definitely doable. So if you get you some of these toggle bolts, I don't prefer these. I prefer this brand right here. These are some of the other ones. I think I got these at Home Depot down in the box, but I like these better. So you drill a 1/2-inch hole through your drywall, through your metal stud, stick that into the hole, and then whenever you pull on this and zip it back, you know, that will end up being in that flange on your metal stud. You zip this into your drywall hole. It's easier if you got it, you know, in drywall. So basically you're pulling on this against the stud, zipping this in until you get it there. And then like once this is flush in your hole in the drywall, you just break these two off. They won't break off clean because I don't have it in the drywall. And then a toggle bolt goes through that into there. And then the nice thing about these is like you can take this toggle bolt back out and this stays in place. So that's why I pretty much only use these. These are my only toggle bolts for the most part that I use now. So your anchor and this and all this stays in the wall instead of, you know, Normal toggle bolt, you take the bolt out, the toggle bolt's gone. It's up in the ceiling somewhere. So you can use those, or regular toggle bolts does the same thing if that's what you want to use. But we've done that before on metal studs where there's no blocking. Yeah, we do a lot of metal stud framing and then drywall and do all that. So we really hammer on them at the beginning of, hey, are you hanging anything on these walls that you want hung? Because it's a lot easier if you put blocking in than it is to try to do it. That's doable, but it's still not as easy as if you just got something up there, you throw a screw in it. Monster toggles. I wear bifocals and dealing with fasteners above my head is awful. Yeah. That's why I've got like transition lenses. And, for certain things, like, this depends on what the distance is. The hardest thing for me is whenever I'm crawled up in somewhere and it's like right in front of my face, which if I don't have my glasses on, I can't see it at all. Like if I'm trying to find a Phillips head screw or something, trying to get my screwdriver on it, like that's why I ended up actually going and getting glasses in the first place, because it was getting so hard for me. If I was wedged up in a cabinet somewhere trying to get to a screw, I could never see, the head of the screw well enough to get my screwdriver, especially like if it's a slotted screwdriver that you were trying to fit in the slot. Like it was just a guessing game if I was hitting it or not. You're welcome, Don. I found one like Joey was showing, but the metal piece in the wall is hardened for masonry and block as well. Yeah, the ones at Home Depot, like these, are meant to. I know that's not one. I don't know where I got these at. I got a bunch of different brand ones in here. There was one of them, yeah, like this one here. I can't remember what the intent on this is. Like if you're supposed to be able to use that to poke it in the wall or something. I don't know, but I don't like that Toggler brand right there. All the plastic stuff seems to be a little bit stiffer, because you'll have sometimes where you'll go to break it off and something gets wonky on it, or something doesn't line up right, or this back here will break on some of the other brands I've used. I've had better luck out of these specific ones than I have any of the other ones. That's why I end up buying a big box of these. I keep filling up. I keep like about 6 or 7 of these in my anchor box in my truck, and then as I use them, I just get them out of here and put them back in there. What's up, Jesse Haynes? Was it Tractor Supply today? They had a great sale on Porter cable tools, 50% off. Nice. I used to have a lot of Porter cable, like skill saw, like electric tools, not cordless tools of any kind. But I used to have a lot of I had a heat gun. I know I had a skill saw. I had a miter saw that was Porter cable at one time. And I haven't bought a lot of anything Porter cable in quite some time. You're gonna love trifocals then. Toggler brand are superior. Yeah, and I think you get these at I bought them at Lowe's. I bought this box at Lowe's, but I think I don't know if I'm pretty sure the ones I don't like, I bought at Home Depot. Corded tool brands matter the least. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and spray some a little bit on them and let it sit. Yeah, all these were out in they were getting rained on quite a bit, so. Togglers are the only anchors we typically use unless it's small. Yeah, I have pretty much for the most part. If it's big stuff, it's those. And then I don't know if I've got any of them in here or not. I probably got some in a box in here. I used to have a bigger wall anchor box that I fill up my other one with. Yeah. So I like these. These are pretty good, but certain brands of these aren't very good either. It's kind of the same thing. There's good brands of these, and there's some of them that are But every time you put them in, they'll break the heads of them break off. These right here are a hit and miss. I think they're called wall dogs. I've also got like metal ones of these, but I don't use these that often. They sell metal ones as well. But they have these screws, which are called wall dogs. So it's essentially a screw, but it has, you know, kind of bigger threads on it so that it doesn't pull back out of the drywall. They work fairly decent on 5/8 drywall. 1/2-inch drywall, especially if it's ultralight, not so much. And then you have to be like very cautious of when you get to where it's tightened up, you go one turn too many, you know, it basically wallers out that drywall and makes it useless. What I use these for is if I'm hanging a light on a ceiling, and I work by myself. So if I'm putting up like a flush mount light, like a fluorescent, or be LED now, but that kind of a light, I will put like I will get it lined up and use these to put it up and hold it to the ceiling while I drill holes for toggle bolts or whatever else, just to keep it up there for me basically and keep everything lined up. So I kind of use these as a temporary thing, or I will use them on, like if it's 5/8 drywall, even if it's 1/2 inch, if it's just something small, sometimes I'll use these. But I wouldn't use these for anything that I was leery of. This is going to hurt somebody if it comes off the wall, break something, whatever else. But they're okay for certain things. You know, the bar that you put the adjustable stuff in, because all the shelving I'm doing in the quad plate, it's all really hanging off that top bar. That's what's the load supporting. And then all the other screws are just lining up those bars. And I'm going to buy some white ones and try it, because then that would save me a ton of time of marking all the holes, pulling those off, drilling the holes, putting an anchor in, and then putting a screw in, versus if I can just take those screws, because all it's doing is holding that bar in place in a straight line, and all you want it to do is not pull off the wall. So I'm going to try it on there if I can make one. Home Depot doesn't carry the toggler, unfortunately. Looking at the Skill miter saw and table saw, they rank really high, near 5 stars. Elliot said, which ones are they? I saw a PC Porter cable band file. If it had any batteries, I might have tried it for $39. I don't mind the aluminum version of those twister wall anchors. So these right here, yeah, the plastic ones are okay, and I use them, but these won't break as much. They're a little bit more expensive though. Glitch in the matrix. I changed from Raven in the weeds now. Yeah, I think I might have caught up. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go. I might have to just buy a whole new mesh system, and then again, I think I'm gonna go ahead and see about changing over to fiber. Because I didn't have any problem with my internet until whatever happened with that storm. Like every time we were out here for multiple lives, there was never any. Ever since I ran a wire out to here, it seemed like it was fine. I'll tell you one thing: if at Lowe's, if you buy anything like in a big quantity, if you're going to buy a lot of something, open up your app and create a quote of it, and then like they deduct quite a bit off of it. Like so, if you're going to do flooring, or like I was doing closet shelving and all that kind of stuff and window blinds. And I put it all in a quote just so I'd have it because I was going to have to order a lot of it. And I wanted to just put it all in one thing so I could go up to the desk and say, hey, I need you to basically order all these things and I only want to come pick them up one time type thing. And man, it saved quite a bit of money doing it that way. Like if you just make a quote, they deduct like a certain percentage off. You talking about dating, Elliot? You have to spend lots of money to get extra benefits. How far is your garage from the main building? Eh, it's not super far. Probably like now from my main router, probably maybe 150 feet at the most. And it may be that it did something to that wire that I had, because basically I think everything that was connected to the original modem got hit a little bit or whatever. So I may have to run a new wire, which I'm planning on running a new wire anyway. So I'm not going to do that until I do my building. I'm going to run a new wire whenever I run more electric out here, and actually put it in, probably some conduit and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm going to have to dig a trench for that anyway. So right now I just bought an exterior grade cable and just buried it a little bit from here to my house. Cat 6A will cover that distance easy for you. Did you chop that blue snake with a shovel? I didn't. Have before though. Yeah, so there's so many combinations of things that it could be, but it's just because of whatever. So I did try this time. I was trying the changing the router to the other one, because see, I had one of my mesh that was not connected through wires any way whatsoever. It was just basically pinging Wi-Fi off of the other ones. So that's the one I moved over and made my router, because it shouldn't have got hit with anything type thing. But if it's still glitched out, maybe it's not that then. And I just feel like whatever they did to my internet whenever the guy came to fix it too, it's just not been the same. So it may just be even something with my internet company as well, because he had to call them and have them change a bunch of stuff. And he said, I don't know how your internet's been working right up until now. And I'm like, well, it's been working pretty good, to be honest with you. And then so he had them change a bunch of stuff. Maybe he had them change something, and they did something on their end that's kind of got me not working right. What's up, Woodchuck? You can do a wireless bridge fairly cheap. Then you won't have the chance of lightning hitting the cable. Your main line in on cable. No, I've got DSL, but there's been a company running fiber up my road, and they've got a box right in my yard. They asked if they could, put one there. And I even let them people park their equipment on my property while they were doing the whole road type thing. And he said that they would call me once they got it all done, and I hadn't heard anything from them. But while my internet was down, I went ahead and called that company, and they act like I can get it right now. So I'm probably going to go ahead and swap to that anyways, and then I'll see what happens once I do that. But they said it'd be like I got to call them still, but they said it'd be like 10 to 15 days before they'd be able to come out and do it, probably scheduling wise. Last time I called them. Leave it to a cable service technician to F it up. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know if whenever he called and was having them change stuff, if he's changed stuff now, because I almost want to say whatever it was he said that was wrong with mine. He said, I'm surprised yours hasn't been dropping like in and out a lot because of whatever the reason was. So he called and had him change some stuff. And then now I've got it dropping. Like I said, I never had done it before. You tell them that you are on camera and you have protection. If you can get fiber, go that route. Once you have an OTN on your house, they can upgrade you and the computer. No need for new wires, etc. And Clint said fiber works great for me. Yeah, I've got some. I've got. It's kind of weird too. Like a road that's off of the main road that I'm on. They've got fiber down their road, but it's a different company. And then my road's a different company. So I don't know anybody personally that has the fiber that I can get, but I know some people that's got the fiber on the next road over and they love it. Like they say it's great. My cousin had Comcast and the tech was out countless times to fix it. And see, that's where I'm at. It's like, even if it, like, I could go call my company right now and say, hey, ever since your technician was out here, I've been having some internet issues. It's been dropping in and out. And they'll just be like, I can already tell you from me calling tech support to get them to come out here and fix it before, it's a total waste of my time. It ain't going to happen. So I already know that. So I'm not even messing with it. That's why I'm like, I'm just going to call and switch total different company and have them run new stuff. The fiber I have is at 20 gigabyte right now, but I can upgrade to 40 or 100 if I need to. Don't scare the fan base away talking about the internet, LOL. Yeah, I was reading comments before I got out here. I had 2 or 3, and one of them was on the Vera Zyklop, the bit holding one. You know, I've got a video, and whoever it was, he said this video was 7 minutes too long. I'm like, well, that's a pretty weird number just to come up with. I'm like, what 7 minutes are you cutting? Yeah, so this week, landscape lights today, outside speakers, uh, always checking in on the quadplex. Right now, we've got painters out there painting everything, so we haven't really been able to do any kind of work because we're just letting them have at it. But we'll be laying all the floor like soon as they get done, and then after the floor, I've got baseboard, and then door hardware and closet shelving and window blinds, all stuff that I'm doing. And then put together a bunch of furniture for a doctor's office. One day and a partial day, went back and put in a baby changing station in their bathroom, installed that. What else did I do? Let's see. There's installed some floating shelves. Little odds and ends stuff on a job that was a little bit bigger job, just small stuff, getting it finished up. People who like 39-second videos are people you don't want. Well, it's like I tell people all the time that comment like that. I'm like, I could have made it shorter, but then there'll be 1,000 questions in my comment section of, hey, what about this or what about that? And then I've got to try to answer that with words instead of just putting it in the video, and you can skip past it if you don't need to know it, or just don't watch it altogether if you think it's too long or whatever. It's like, I don't get how somebody gets mad that a video is too long. It's like, just quit watching it. If you don't want to watch it anymore, quit watching it. Lexi said, yeah, if you're at a point where you don't even want to call tech support, it's time to change. Yeah, I know for a fact if I call them, they're going to be like, well, we're not seeing anything wrong on our end or whatever. And I can try to explain to them, hey, he called and had y'all change some stuff. Whatever it was, change it back. But they won't ever. I can tell by the people that I talked to last time, it ain't going to happen. As an Australian, it's hard to tell what tier quality Klein Tools is as a brand. How do you rate them in comparison to others? So It's kind of hard these days because they've got a lot of mix of stuff. Like, you know, 10 years ago, I'd have said, man, they're all pretty much good. If you go buy something Klein, it's going to be pretty good. But now they've got stuff being made in the USA, stuff being made in Taiwan, stuff being made in China, and all at different price points and stuff like that. Most of the made in the USA stuff, for the most part, that I get seems like it's still fairly decent for the most part. Most of the made in Taiwan stuff that I've got's not been too bad, and some of the China stuff's not been bad. Like the pliers wrench, I have no issue with that, and I'm pretty sure that one was made in China. But so far, it's been fine. But a lot of their screwdrivers, like all the multi-bit ones and all that kind of stuff, it's just a mix of, and it really probably depends on how much you use them, because that's not my everyday. Like if I'm doing something that I know I'm using Phillips, I'm grabbing a Phillips screwdriver and using a handle that I like a ball handle or something like that. But those are the ones I keep in my bag and just do like service work with. I'm not like installing, 100 receptacles using a Klein multi-bit screwdriver. That's not what I'm going to do. So maybe mine lasts better than some other people's if you use them all the time, but some of their stuff's not been great. Got somebody out here jamming. So it's hit or miss. You got to be leery of it. For the most part, if you buy a pair of Lyman pliers, diagonals, those kinds of things, and they're the made in the USA, they're still just the same as what they've been for 100 years. You can go buy you a pair of, like, these are super old Kleins that I went and bought off eBay, and I mean, they're still working probably like the day somebody bought them. There's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. This ain't TikTok. Been catching you around the comment section, Lexi Bravo. Someone you liked watching Vines. I like a lot of their tools, but some stuff I won't buy, Robert Mason said. Klein's a rebrand company sold at Lowe's, LOL. Yeah. Like I said, I was worried about it at first whenever I saw it. It's basically soon as Klein moved over to Lowe's. It's like almost like I'm assuming this. I don't know this. I'm assuming Home Depot wouldn't give them the space to do what they were wanting to do ultimately. So they were kind of stuck with, we've only got this little section here. So we're putting our Lyman pliers, those kinds of things like that, a few screwdrivers, whatever. But they moved over to Lowe's, and Lowe's just basically said, hey, you can put stuff in the painting aisle, you can put stuff in the plumbing aisle, over by the sawhorses, put stuff wherever you want to, and they put their name on everything. So a lot of their stuff isn't even, in my opinion, it's not their stuff. It's somebody makes a set of sawhorses and they throw cobalt on the side of it. They throw Klein on the side of it. They just paint it orange instead of blue. It's all the same stuff. Yeah, you're welcome, Ryan. Yeah, like I said, I'm still gonna buy. I mean, I use the Impact 11 one. I've got, this is the ratcheting version here, and maybe the regular one. Yeah, I got different bits in the ratcheting, but I keep an Impact 11 one in my SPMC right now. I use it all the time. But it's because it's a versatile screwdriver that takes up one slot in my tool bag. So that's why I use it. How often do you use your M18 fan? I'm thinking of getting one for working under sinks, but they're on sale at HD for 129 bare. So I only have the M12 one now, but I had the M18 one, but I think I gave it to somebody or sold it to somebody on a job site or something, because the M12 one had, I liked it better because it has the magnets and all that other stuff that the M18 spun all the way around. So I just use it all the time. But I do stuff like what you just said with it. And I used to put it on drywall patches and stuff too. But I have found, like, so I will do that if I'm going to leave and go somewhere, maybe I'll still do that. But for the most part, if I'm in a place where nobody's there and I can make all the noise I want to, if you take a small leaf blower, like I've got a small Bosch one I keep in my truck, and put it on them drywall patches, man, it dries them super fast. So that's what I've started doing. I don't use the fans that much anymore. I can usually get something to dry like pretty fast. But I don't use them a lot for like actually cooling me off so much as I use them for drying stuff. But that's because it's not I don't I don't work in some space like for long periods of time. So like I'm not going to go up in an attic and spend all day up in an attic usually. I'm usually up in and out, and it's not something I want to carry up there with me anyways. Klein got pushed out because Milwaukee said mine. Cammed out my 1/4 inch bit on my flip socket using a T25 bit, driving a 3-inch deck screw into a telephone pole. Had the vice grip twist it back to get it off. Yeah, I could probably see that happening. Chris said, I recommend you doing something different with your internet. Yeah, I'm going to. I need to call them and go ahead and just get it set up because it's the price difference isn't even that difference between going from uh, the DSL package I've got now going to the fiber. I don't think it's that much difference. And then I'm probably going to go ahead and buy me another mesh system. And I think I'm going to, so I don't know, you guys who know that kind of stuff better than me, what brand, TP Link or, something like that, what brand would y'all get of that kind of stuff? Mostly so I can just have something else tied into it that's out here. I'll go with the M12. Didn't know it would be strong enough. Yeah, it's not a lot different than the. Now I don't know if M18s came. I know they came out with a really big fan, but I don't know if did M18 come out with a second regular fan. I don't think they did. I had both, and the wind speed. I think I've even got a video comparing the two. I can't tell a huge difference of the volume of air. Like I remember the CFM is different or something, but as far as field tests, I couldn't tell much difference as far as the amount blowing on you type thing. Love the ratcheting 11-in-1, works great. Usually that's one of my first grabs. Yeah, I know a lot of people like that one. I'm not a big ratcheting screwdriver person, but talking about getting a mini camera with an inspection video on it. Any suggestions for an in-wall application? Looking for obstructions, fire blocking, etc. before having to fish a wall. I haven't bought any kind of thing like that in a long time. I used to have a little rigid. They sell it at Home Depot, and it took just like regular batteries. And that was before I was in M12 or any of those tools, so I didn't buy. But I haven't bought the M12 one. They sell them for fairly cheap if you want to like get one to just use every so often, and it doesn't take up any room in your truck. Is they sell just a cable that's got the camera on the end that you can hook into your phone. And then the nice thing about that is you can record video on your phone and all that kind of stuff if you want to. I think I still have one of those, but it probably works with Android. I haven't bought one since I'm on an iPhone, but I used to have one. I don't know if I still do or not. Might be what's in this thing. Yeah. So they got them. This one works with, this one's USB, but I want to say it came with something that you put on your phone and hook that into, but then you could also hook it into your, but they've got them that are stiff, not so stiff, but you can just drill a small hole, enough to fit that in and kind of stick it in to that hole and get it inside of a wall. They sell them all kinds of them that hook up to whatever your phone is. And then This one's way too long because there's no way you could use all that and it not end up being flimsy. I wouldn't get one super long like this. If you can find you something small, and again, you could just keep that in your truck and it's not going to take up very much room. I like having 11-1 or a multi-bit when going into service calls, but if I'm going to an install, I use dedicated hand drivers. Yeah, I do too. It's way faster. I'd rather have a Phillips and a slotted or whatever else I'm using in a pouch on my hip. And that way I can sit there and just swap them in and out as I go, not have to sit there and break apart the screwdriver and change all that stuff around. Ubiquity, Asus. Asus ROG routers are flashy, but sure have better internals. I have gone Euro mesh system. It works for me. Asus has a very good mesh network system that uses a 5G backbone to it. Always use Netgear routers. Matt Asus. Have they come out with a ratcheting open end box wrench? I need one. Ratcheting open end. I don't think I've seen one. Ratcheting open end box wrench. I don't think I've seen one. I seen Klein Camera had one cheap recently. Yeah, they've got several of them. Like if you want a tool, they've got all sorts of them. And like I said, that's the kind of tool, in my opinion, that I don't buy, even though like M12 has one and it takes the M12 batteries, and the odds of them changing the battery system anytime soon is probably slim to none. But that's kind of like a thermal camera to me. Like I wouldn't want to buy a thermal camera necessarily that works with my M12 batteries, because my thought is, well, eventually they're going to change that battery, just the same as everybody else has. Again, it may not happen for a really long time, but eventually they're probably going to. And then that's a tool that like I'm not going to use all the time anyways. And I'd rather like say I want to go into a different tool system. I don't want to have to go buy another inspection camera just because I'm going to a new tool system whenever it's something I don't use all the time. I was that way about my track saw. I'm not somebody, I've got one. I went ahead and bought a corded version instead of buying a battery powered one, because it's not something I get out at my job sites like on a regular basis. Matter of fact, most of the time I just use it here and cut down stuff and then take it to a job site. So I've always got power whenever I'm using it, but I didn't want to, I spent a lot of money on a track saw and the tracks and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't want to, well, later on, I can't get a battery for it, or for one, the batteries are expensive for it. And I just didn't need it to be a battery powered tool. So if you can find something on a tool that you don't use that often, I don't feel like you need to get it into a battery platform system that necessarily you're in. Cisco routers are good, but too expensive. Have a good night, people. Single parenting tonight, so tacos it is. See you, Jesse. Tacos sound pretty good. Looking at the Klein one. Asus ROG, Republic of Gaming. Asus is great, but their app stinks. Gear Wrench has opened end box wrenches. Don said their apartment maintenance couple are breaking free. What about the Vera Jokers? Yeah, those are pretty nice, actually. Mac Berkson sent me one in my, yeah. It's very, they're pretty nice. The only thing is, which I guess with a, ratcheting box wrench, you're kind of limited on whatever the size is too. So, that's kind of what these are in a sense. They're not exactly like a ratcheting wrench, but they're, that's kind of what they are. The only thing you're going to get into with this is that I'm sure that head is going to be bigger than a box wrench of a specific size. So fitting it into a place like that's a tight fit, you're probably going to get a box wrench in there more than what you're going to get this in there. But that's kind of the action that you get with this. Lock Camera said Harbor Freight has a couple inspection cameras, cheap that work. Yeah, and based on the fact of that Beaver sewer camera that I got, the picture quality and stuff on that, again, I don't think that's something where you got to spend buku bucks on one to get a decent picture of what you're going to be looking at. I'd say the more important thing is the lights and stuff that's on it. If you're going to stick it in a wall cavity, make sure that it's got like good LED lights around whatever it is to make it bright enough for you to be able to see. Under sink, get the Pasco angle stop set. Kurt just needs a joker for blower fans. Quick tight and angle wrench kit Pasco. Quick tight and angle on. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up getting that too. I bought the like it. It's okay, but I think that quick tight angle on thing is going to be better. Yeah, I can see I'm glitchy. I'm going to see if I can move my router out of this hole. No, not really. I'm not going to do that. So what'd y'all work on this week? I saw Matt was said he was rethreading a whole bunch of light fixtures. These right here weren't too bad for 20 something bucks. They worked anyways. TPG just got all his vents cleaned out. HVAC vents today. A personal vent on Tuesday. So you had somebody come in like with a machine and like get out all the dust and stuff inside of them. Sometimes that's pretty crazy what they pull out of them. And sometimes they're not too dirty, but sometimes they're pretty bad. We had one that we cleaned out one time, and the return was up in a drop ceiling, and it had just been sucking dust and everything through the whole entire drop ceiling for years. And they cleaned it out. And I mean, it was like trash bags full of dust. 30 today, watering out hose. Killtronic's been mainly CCTV work. Pulled out a lot of insulation. Roy, 280 feet of underground, new meter set, commercial service for tennis court lights. I'm not an electrician, but I played helper and ditch digger and got it done and passed, though. So. Helper and ditch digger. I have the Klein that uses your phone USB-C, and it's been fine so far. Some reviews commented on the app, but I haven't had any issues. So you use the Klein like light that hooks up your, or camera that hooks up to your phone. I didn't even know they had one that hooked up to your phone, like an inspection camera. I knew they had a thermal camera. 4 vanities, 6 bathroom faucets, 5 kitchen faucets. PMs just got done. Yeah, I put in a 1 vanity faucet, and then also like a bar sink and a faucet, and then some cabinets. Ditch diggers make the world go round. Sorting 350 Cat 6 cables to get ready to punch down. 2 new from the ground up dental office build outs with a full array of cabinet installs and seam countertops, Corian. Yeah, so I just did a while back. I was doing a project. I filmed some of it. There wasn't a lot of it that I filmed, but the place that I was tearing out was a dental office, and they had a lot of like air hose, copper pipe for air hoses, and all that kind of stuff. Didn't have much for work today. Just added 2 fans to a furniture rack and went home. L Shift said it is IP cameras, not coax. When I was younger, knee protection. Yeah, right now, absolutely. Yeah, I wear mine more often now than what I used to, and I wish I would have worn them longer. That's like whenever I bought the Pro knees, I use those for flooring. I think I've got them in here. I wish I'd have bought these a long time ago. I've had them for a while. I should have them in here. Yeah, and I need to get some new covers for them, but I think I'm actually just going to buy the smaller pair because those weren't an option whenever I bought these. They have them now that are only like half size, like only like this top half. But yeah, I bought these. I use these for flooring only. That's pretty much what I use them for. But and then I do a lot of glue flooring and stuff. So I need to get me some new covers. But they're dirty, but there's nothing on them. It just looks that way. It's where glue's dried and then stuff sticks to the glue. But yeah, these are crazy comfortable. Like, and they don't move around like the way they hook in at the bottom of your leg and the top of your leg. They don't slide. They don't do any of that kind of stuff, but they're super expensive. And they make them based. You have to do measurements and stuff like that, and they make them. But they've got a pair now that is only the top half. That would be kind of like these kind of knee pads, and that's probably I'm not going to buy those to go in a crawl spaces and stuff, but I might just buy them as quicker knee pads to put on than these and take up less room in my truck type thing. But yeah, I wish that whenever I bought those, I've had them for a while, but as soon as I wore them, I was like, man, I wish I'd have bought these several years ago. Klein camera's only $40 and the app isn't on the Play Store, so people have to load it. Jonathan Green pitched a nerve in his neck, so he can't do much. Stinks. Yeah, I used to get cricks in my neck all the time where I could barely turn my neck. I haven't had that happen a lot, which now I can just barely turn my neck. I don't have any kind of crick. It's just, man, I don't know. As you get older, I don't know if it's everybody, but like I can turn my head this way fine, but turning my head that way, like to look over in the other lane in your blind spot and stuff, sometimes you're just like, I'm just going to move over and hopefully nobody's there. Getting harder to turn your head. What's up, plumbing? Chris had a bad storm today. Ripped my flag right off the house pillar. Used my new push button slip joint pliers to remove the bent screws. Matt's been cast iron pipe free for over a week now. Small victories. Justin, in the last 2 weeks, 5 people have passed away, and I've witnessed a man get paralyzed because of a dropped impact from 40 foot above. Stay safe out there. Yeah, you get to where you're working on lifts and scaffolding and stuff. You gotta. I mean, you don't think about it like you think to yourself, oh man, it's bad if I drop my drill, it's gonna break and I might have to buy a new one. But it's like, man, if somebody's down there, you can imagine. I always think of the Home Alone 2 where he's throwing the bricks down and hitting him in the face. I'm like, man, that would totally kill somebody, which all the stuff that happens in Home Alone would totally kill somebody. But even watching that, I'm just like, man, if that really happened, that would hurt so bad. George is working on welding some yard art and then trying a show next weekend. I'm really impressed with the Chief brand die grinder bits. Matt said I use a tether on my impact. I have Carhartt pants that can slide knee pads in them, and they work pretty well for me. Yeah, I've got several overalls that you could do that in as well. I used to do that whenever I wore overalls all the time. Like overalls were something I used to wear all the time, like unlined Carhartt overalls. That was kind of my outfit, my work outfit. I'm warm thinking about Carhartt work pants. Yeah, I pulled out the shorts one day this week and worked in shorts. Which again, that's kind of the nice thing about being my own business. I get to just decide what it is I want to wear for my outfit. Elliot said you just need a good chiropractor. Yeah, I used to go to the chiropractor all the time. I had one that I absolutely loved. Like I've went to probably 6 or 7 in my lifetime, and I finally found one that, man, he made a huge difference in me. Like I'd go to him like once a month at least, sometimes more often than that, and it was awesome. Like I felt great, and then he ended up dying. He just was ended up passing away, and I haven't found anybody since that was the same as him. True Work XP pants, Joey. You won't regret it. They have knee pads. 3 addicts this week. Killtronic said, "Man, it's starting to get to that point where addict work's going to be a little bit more costly for somebody if they want me to do it. It's not quite there yet. If you get there early, you're still good, but it's starting to get to the point where it's going to be too hot up in them things." Life is fragile. We take it for granted. Count your blessings every day. Absolutely right, Tony. Is that a spider shirt? No, I think this one's just a Columbia shirt. I think pretty sure. This one's not in too bad a shape. This one's probably one I didn't wear to work in that much, but I ended up losing a button on it, so then I got a big flare down here now. I think it's one I got off eBay. My spring promo came 2 days after getting my TP XXL Spec Ops. Yeah, both of mine came in the same box. Like I got my SPMC and my MCTP in the same box, and then I got my SPMC for my Tech Pack MC. I got it in the mail one day. I think it was last Friday. I think I got it last Friday. I ended up giving it to the guy that I work with on a consistent basis. After he saw mine, he's like, "I don't know. I think I might want one of those." And I said, "Well, I got another one coming, so I may send the SPMC to Tim or something. I don't know yet." Got the infrared TPXXL and the Tech MCTP. Sold the 2 SPMCs, which cover the cost of one of the bags. Yeah, it's a smart way to do the spring promo. I've been trying to trade for one of the SPMCs. So the guess the trade this Saturday, I had, and again, I don't look at the pictures. I try not to look at the pictures before I film. I just come out here and look at them for the sole purpose of, I mean, I could easily go and look at somebody's photos and then Google the photo search and figure out what something is, and do all kinds of stuff to come up with the answer, make it look like I know what they do. So I was filming it, and there's several things in it that I'm just like, I have no idea what that is. Like, don't know what it is, and it's really obvious what it is after I was in there editing it, and I was just watching the video and looking at it. I'm like, I know exactly what that is now, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't place it. And then I started noticing other things. Like one of the things that he's got is one of the tools. I'll go ahead and give you a hint. One of the things that he's got one of his tools hanging on at the very beginning, I know exactly what it is. And then I started putting the other things together. So I'm pretty sure I know what it is that he does now. But I did, like, while I was filming it, no idea whatsoever. So whenever we're in the chat, I'll kind of give some hints of what I think it is, but I'll wait till we're in the chat for it. But the guy who's in the guess the trade, it's Doug1637. He's got like 42,000 subscribers on YouTube. I was like, dang. So I went and looked, but a lot of his videos are like gaming videos. Like he records himself gaming and stuff like that. I found a pair of tech pants that can insert the pads at LIDL for $11 on clearance. So far, so good. Is that Little, or maybe you meant to say Aldi, or I don't know. The only thing I'm not sure of is where you'd get the pads. It looks like he has cotter pins hanging on his bag. See, that's what, after you said that, I thought, well, that is kind of what it looks like. But I think I know what it is now, like those pins are. And I think if that is what those pins are, it makes it obvious what he does. I noticed you have a Harbor Freight hat. How do you like it so far? Yeah, it's a pretty nice hat. Whenever I take my hat off, my mic goes away because it's on my hat. But I got a patch there on the back that says HFT, and it's got that patch on the front. But it's just your typical trucker hat. But it's pretty nice. $6.99. I mean, that's pretty cheap for. That's kind of the same as buying the blank hats that I buy for my Morgan's maintenance hats that I make every now and then. They for my actual work. They they're like $7-8 just for a blank hat. I haven't killed a pair of True Work T1s yet. These pants are pretty nice. They're what brand are they? They're like I got them at Lowe's. Free Country or something like that. As far as the feel of them, like the stretchiness and the temperature and all that kind of stuff. They were on clearance at Lowe's one day. Like my Lowe's started carrying clothes for whatever reason, and they had them on a rack on clearance. So I bought a couple pairs of them just to have, and they've been pretty nice. Elliot, I need some stickers for my shop. I should have your email, but if you email me plumbing, I'll have to get your new email plumbing. But y'all just send me emails. Send me an email with your address. I probably got it, but it's going to be easier for you to just send me a new email of where you want the sticker sent than me to search through my email, because I can't tell you how many emails I get a day from people wanting to send me yoga pants and cat litter boxes to make videos for because they love my channel so much. You know where to get Milwaukee boat accessories that aren't expensive? No, I haven't looked into them at all. I I have a hard hat. I don't even keep it in my truck, and then I really would never probably wear it unless I went to a factory or something like that. Because any of those kind of job sites, for the most part, I don't work on them until usually like they're finished and I'm going in and doing finished work, and I don't have to wear one at that point. Not buying my mattress and clothing at a home store. Matt S ended up with 3 SPMCs and they're too small for my use. I might end up keeping one for when I'm working in a scissor lift, but we'll see. TPG said Carhartt's on my permanent do not buy. I haven't bought anything Carhartt in a long time. Like I said, I used to wear their overalls like every day, every single day. That's what I wore. I still like them. I wouldn't mind wearing them even right now today. As far as for a uniform, they just don't look as I don't like the look of it as much as in my own business type thing. I get my pants at Sam's Club. Members Mark brand in khaki are super lightweight and stretchy, and for $14 they last longer than my Carhartt pants. So I'm real bad about like clothes. Like I want my stuff to look nice or whatever, but spending money on them is pretty hard for me to just like, I'm gonna go. That's why True Work stuff I've not bought any, because it's like, man, I just can't make myself spend that much money on a pair of pants. But I go to Goodwill most of the time and just find pants that are kind of like dress pants most of the time. Like, they would look like this type thing, but not dress pants, but kind of like khakis or whatever else. And then, you buy them for $5 because I know I'm going to just I'm going to get on the knees and they'll be dirty within a day, like stained and everything else. So I try not to spend that much money on them. Pants wise, shirts are a little bit different. I usually don't run shirts near as much as I run pants. Sam's has good insulated pants. Jonathan's got Carhartt work gloves, like them better than mechanics. Yeah, I mostly bought Carhartt wise was just overalls, and I've got several like toboggans or beanies or knit hats, whatever it is that you call them. I call all of them toboggans. I don't know if there's a difference between the two or not. Most of the time, I have 13-inch shorts. Us tall people need longer shorts, which I always wear shorts that come at least to my knees. I'm not one of those that wears the where you can see the top of my leg. But during the summertime, I wear shorts most of the time because again, I'm for the most part, but I put a pair of pants in my truck. So like if I'm going somewhere where I feel like I should wear pants, I'll put on pants. Like during the summertime, I'll wear shorts to like my job site jobs, and then I'll keep pants in my truck for if I'm going somewhere and I feel like it's a situation where I might would need to wear pants. Steve said I like the work pants from Costco. They're $17. Rural King Carpenter pants, number 12 or $12 a pair. Rural King. I think there's a Rural King in the town where I did the dentist office job. There's some kind of weird store there that I've never been in before, but I think it's a Rural King. Underrated store, most overlooked at place in my area. And Don Mendenhall said about Rural King. Do they got Milwaukee? Because this place had Milwaukee. The store I went to had Milwaukee tools. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, they do. It's a massive section. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the name of it because I was getting it, and there's also like a because it's kind of like a mix. The Rural King was kind of like a mix of Tractor Supplies type stuff, and then but they also had better tools like type thing. That's the kind of store it kind of was, and they had clothes. Where Tractor Supply does have some clothes, but not a lot. And then we've also got a store in my town called like Stockdale's or something like that that's got a lot of clothes and stuff, but they don't. I don't think they've got very. I don't know if they got tools or not. Some ways got limited options with the 29-inch waist. Some way never hits them little Debbies. Every day, me and the guys play the blame game. Every day, it's someone's fault. We all volunteer daily. What are these pants that you're talking about? Lockhammer said we don't even have those in Florida. Yeah, there for the longest time where I worked before, you had to wear pants. Like you couldn't wear shorts. And then I finally, after being there for like 10 years, I was like, I really need to wear some shorts. I'm tired of burning up during the summertime because I'd have to work outside all summer with different groups and stuff like that were volunteering. It was so hot wearing pants and stuff. And I finally got it okayed. So 29, I haven't been that since the fifth grade. Their fastener section is aisles upon aisles. I'll tell you, Menards, I'm pretty impressed with Menards fastener section. They got quite a bit of stuff. They got a lot more stuff materials wise at Menards. They've got a lot more stuff materials wise than Home Depot and Lowe's. And but tools wise, I don't like Menards at all as far as the tools they got. If Menards had really good tools, it'd be pretty hard pressed to get me back into Home Depot or Lowe's. We have a Rural King and Big R in my area. Big R is owned by the brother that owns Rural King. Northern Tools Fancy Tool too. Yeah, I've never been in a Northern Tool store. We passed one on our way home from St. Louis when we went on that trip, and but we were on our way home, and I wasn't going to pull off to go to it. I did go to the Home Depots that were by our hotel while we were up there to see if they had any clearance, but they didn't have anything. What brand is your blue tool chest? Look sharp. Uh, don't have a clue. I got them for free. Didn't buy them. I think that was in my frequently asked questions video that we did. But I have no idea. I got them for out of a demo job. They were going to get rid of them, so I just brought them home. And there's not a name on them anywhere. I've looked. Just found the Walmart still has rustlers for about 13. They seem like they last a bit. TPG's 38. Wouldn't mind dropping back to 36. I'm normally 36, 38, but I can get down to a 32 is about as small as I can get to. Like if I really hit it hard and am real strict about little Debbie intake. Menards has great hardware, plumbing, and electrical sections. I see you put the drill holster from the SPMC on the front of your MCTP. I ended up taking both pouches off my SPMC and putting them on the sides of my MCT meter pockets. Yeah, you can fit them over here. I just put that there right now just because I need it. I don't know that I'm going to leave it that way. If it was a blackout thing, I might would, but that works pretty good right there, sliding in that small pocket. But I would do this. I don't know if I'll leave it on the bag, but I might leave this holster in my truck. And then if I'm going into it all depends on how I load this out. If I've got room to put it in the bag, I'm probably going to do that. But it does work out pretty well. Fine working pants and 30-30 stinks. B Gunner said it sucks. I'm lucky enough to have a Northern Tool near my Home Depot, Menards, and Lowe's. Yeah, so we've got, in my town, we've got Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, several Ace Hardwares, Tractor Supply companies. We got a couple of those. And then that a town north of me has that Rural King and a Lowe's. And then a town south of me has a Lowe's. And then we've got a Harbor Freight. The town south of me has a Harbor Freight. Killtronics knows what Northern Tool you're talking about. It really has a poor selection. Not the Roadhouse Row. Sad day here in Hamilton, Ohio. Our Texas Roadhouse is on fire, man. We got a Texas Roadhouse here in the last couple years, and I mean it is always running over. People love that place. It's okay. I'm not like wow or anything. The rolls are good, but I've not had anything that I'm just like this is gross, but I've not had anything where I'm like, oh, I just can't. I love eating here. Question regarding fuses. I needed a 15 amp, 250 volt slow blow glass fuse. Went to 5 stores and Electric Supply House, and no one had them. Yeah, it's getting to be where even supply houses, like, it kind of started happening during COVID. Like they got to where they couldn't get stuff for a long time. And I don't know if it switched something in their brain at those places to realize even if we don't keep a lot of inventory, people are still going to order the stuff, and then we don't have to house it here. We don't even have to buy it up front. Most of even the supply houses, in my opinion, like you've almost got to go order your stuff and then wait at least a day or so to be able to get it at the earliest. It's very rare unless it's just like some kind of really common stuff that they sell like gangbusters every single day. But if you go into even a plumbing supply house and you want a certain tub or something else, stuff that they might would have stocked 4 or 5 years ago, they ain't got them. You're gonna have to wait a day or two, and they'll get you one. But I think it happened during COVID, and they realized, well, even if we don't have it, people are still gonna buy it, and they're just gonna have to wait a day or two. And they kind of took that philosophy and just decided they're not gonna store a bunch of stuff anymore. That's just my theory. I have no idea if that's true or not, but it's been that way at all the supply houses. Try finding a size 17 6E work boots. Goodness. Got Shaquille O'Neal in here. I have a Roadhouse 4-minute walk from here. You can smell it. Yeah, there's where I used to work at, which is where I'm doing the quadplex for, is a cookout right next door to it. I don't know if any of y'all have a cookout near you. They do hamburgers and hot dogs and all that kind of stuff like that, milkshakes and stuff like that. But it's nonstop, just hamburger smell. Some way said humble brag, Elliot Parrish. What's up, Mario? Northern to mile from my house. It's okay, nothing amazing. Killtronics, I had to switch to 38 pants this winter. Never been that big in my life. Little Debbie's, man. Little Debbie's will do it to you. I've got, like I said, at one time, the biggest I've ever been, I weighed like 287 or something like that. I probably wore a 44, 46 or something like that because my weight really distributes over my whole body for the most part. So like I don't ever like just get big in one spot. And usually it's like if I get real big, it's my whole body's big. But I think that's the biggest I've been, 44 or something like that. And then like I said, if I actually try to be 100% fit and stay at it and all that kind of stuff, I can get back down to like a 32. And that's if I weigh 180 or something like that. I'm usually wearing a 32 pants. What's up? Ted Cook's in here. What's up? Once you hit 42 pant size, your selection goes to nothing. And see, I've never had a problem like working, being bigger. Like even whenever I weighed 285 pounds, I still did everything that I do right now. And it didn't, but it is harder, especially as I'm older, I think, because I was younger whenever I was that big. And then it's harder now for me to lay floor and be heavy. Certain jobs are really hard for me to do being heavy. Anyone try the Free Flex Milwaukee belt? It's super comfortable and looks sharp. I haven't. I'd rather eat a steak at our locally owned Saddle Ranch Bar and Grill. Most of the time for steaks and stuff, I just go buy them and make them myself. I did get one at I don't know if any of you have a Mission Barbecue. I don't know how big of a thing that is. We've got one of those in my town, but I don't know if that's a big chain thing or if that's just a here and there type thing. But they have a Aloha ribeye or something right now that they smoke. And I got one of those the other day. It was okay. It wasn't like nothing great, but it wasn't bad for the price. Granger can have it by 10 a.m. the next day, Terry Spears said. Yeah, it's like I said, most supply houses, maybe Ted Cook can chime in on that too about the HVAC supply houses. I don't buy a lot of HVAC stuff. I just go in there and get like a capacitor and all that kind of stuff like that. But most of the electrical supply houses, the plumbing ones have been the worst, in my opinion, as far as they don't stock stuff that much anymore. Like for the most part, unless it's like a fitting or something like that and just normal stuff, you might can go get it. But if you're buying a tub, a sink, or whatever, I mean, they don't just store them anymore. You got to order them. What's your go-to, Little Debbie? My daughter loves to kill some oatmeal cream pies. Yeah, that's Miss Maintenance's favorite one is oatmeal cream pies. Mine's the peanut butter cream pies. I don't know if your daughter likes peanut butter, but the peanut butter cream pies just came out in the last like year or so. Man, they are good. But peanut butter is you can put peanut butter on anything, and I like it. Mission is fire. Yeah, whenever we were the job I was doing at the recruitment center for the Army, it was the Army, Air Force, Navy, all them all in this one building. We were doing those phases of remodel, and Mission Barbecue brought them over like big old trays of barbecue, macaroni and cheese, beans, and all that kind of stuff. They just bring it to them ever so often just to give it to them. And they said, "Hey, we've got plenty of this in here. Y'all come in here and get some." It's a lot better whenever you could get it and put it on a plate, your own amount of mashed macaroni and cheese and beans on it. Because that's the only thing I don't like about Mission is like their sides are super small and they're really expensive, but they give you like one of those little cups with that's like a spoon and a half of macaroni and cheese. Hard Eight Barbecue was amazing years ago, but heard they had declined. Mission Barbecue's good, so you got them in Florida, I guess, too. So they must be a bigger thing. I didn't know how big they were. We just got ours in the last year or so. You pass the cost of materials to customers, not my problem. Yeah, plumbing said that's all plumbing houses now because it costs money to store. Yeah, that's what I said. They figured it out during COVID because that's when it started doing it. Whenever they couldn't get the stuff and people were having to wait, they're like, "We're going to keep this going because we don't have to pay to have this big warehouse full of stuff, and we also don't have to store all that stuff, hoping we sell it." So basically, they're just waiting until you want to buy it, and then they're going to buy it and mark it up and make money on it some way. I swear, you guys and food. Being heavy will beat up your knees. Yeah, that's where I start feeling it. So now I do anyways. I didn't whenever I was younger, but that's whenever I start going on a diet. It's whenever I can start telling my knees are it's getting harder for me to get up and down. And that's why I said working on the floor now. If I'm super heavy doing a lot of flooring, it's pretty hard. I'm down from 388 to 258 over the last 2 years. Couldn't do it without that thing. Size 48 to a 36. Nice. Good job on that. Yeah, I was 284, 286. I did a local competition that they had that they don't do it anymore, but they used to do it every year. It was kind of back when Biggest Loser was a big thing on TV. One of the local gyms had I can't remember if it was like a 6 week, 8 week, maybe 10 week. I think it might have been a 10 week weight loss competition. They picked 10 people. And then if you won, you got some money. You got a gym membership for however long and all that kind of stuff. And I ended up doing that. And then I won the first place. I think I got down to, I think I only lost, like I got down to, I lost basically close to, I got down to 180 something when it was all said and done. But I think during the thing, I only lost like over 10 weeks, I lost 68 pounds or something like that during the actual competition. So I got down to like 204 or something like that. It's always a mobile home tub. I swear it's an odd size. We end up framing it out to standard. Yeah, everything in a mobile home, like exterior doors, all that stuff's all just oddball stuff. What's up, Randy? Today was the first day of May here in Mississippi. That possibly means it's going to be a cool summer here in the deep south. Yeah, it's warmed up here. It's 77 in here right now, but we've been in the 80s ish. It's not been super hot, but it's been warmer. Here in South Alabama, it's already in the 90s, Elliot said. GOP ones are power. Yeah, I don't have to do a lot of pretty much I get big just based on eating, what I eat and how much I eat type thing. Because if all I have to do is control my diet, and based upon the work we do, I don't have to do like exercising or anything like that. I stay busy all day long, moving and working the way that we work. That's kind of like a workout every day whenever you're working. So all I got to do is like if I get big, it's because I'm eating like garbage or eating way too much or whatever. Shower valves in a mobile home are bad too. I just jam in a Delta. Yeah, the Deltas are my preferred ones. That's what I like working on the most. You guys know a way to help regulate the temperature in your shop without AC? Uh I run a dehumidifier in here and it helps with humidity anyways, and that kind of makes a big difference sometimes. But it definitely doesn't get cool in here. I mostly run big fans. I don't whenever I'm working. I just got several big fans that I turn on and I open up my garage door and it feels good in here, no matter what it is outside. I just can't do it whenever I'm, filming and stuff. Is what stinks. Pro press it in and the poly tuber underneath isn't my problem. It was hotter here in early April than now. Lots of intermittent rain. I went from 34 to 32 to 33 in Levi's. So went down and halfway back up. Do you have good roof venting? Yeah, that helped too. That gets that hot air out. Newer building, pretty well insulated, running 75 to 80 in the middle of the day, trying to keep my batteries at a decent temperature. Don said, get the Big A fan. They're awesome. Yeah, a big fan makes a huge difference. Like when you're out there, but it sounds like you're wanting to keep the temperature kind of, which you can kind of leave fans running too, just to keep your air moving around. But it sounds like you're wanting it to kind of be that way, whether you're out there or not. Plumbing really wants a Pro Pets, but been looking, but need to wait longer. Yeah, they're pretty pricey. But if you're in the business of doing a lot of that work, I could see where it definitely, especially if you can get away from having to do all the soldering and all that kind of stuff, and then especially in certain situations when you do that, you got to do fire watch. You can just imagine how much time that saves and how much money that would save, because you still just factor, in my opinion, you factor that in. If you're able to save yourself money and save yourself labor, but you should charge for that tool that allows you to do that, to not have to have a fire watch and all that whenever you're bidding a job. Because sometimes we'll go buy tools that are actually beneficial to the customer for us to do, that saves them money, but they shouldn't save all that money because you had to go buy the tool to do that. So you need to make sure that you make some of that money back. That's what pays for that tool. What about a 48-inch industrial rolling fan? Plumbing said the anxiety you save too. Technology and Little Debbie's are both making us soft, just in different ways. Matt's time to go. Yep, 8 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and probably get off here too. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I see that makes our jobs way easier for sure with technology and all that stuff. But it's like I've said before in lives or maybe videos, or I've said it to people. I don't know how many times I've said it, but it's like, I don't know what we are as a society if something happens to where I can't get on my phone and Google what the answer is. You know, I don't think we've got a lot of people to be able to figure it out without that. So then we're not near as intelligent or able to figure out stuff as we maybe once were. And then I think about all the tools that we have that make stuff super easy, which is really nice for us. But what do you do if you don't have those tools? People built a lot of things not having anywhere close to what we have. And most of the time, those things were even built better than how we build them today. So we're definitely not as advanced as a human civilization. We might be more technology advanced than what we've ever been, but as far as our brains and stuff, definitely not. I'll make sure to miss the last 2 minutes. That's when we do the giveaways. Any society that has such a thing as a selfie stick is doomed. Be safe out there, Todd Turner said. Great chat, everyone. Have a good Friday. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here, get inside. Actually, I gotta load up a few things in my truck for my job tomorrow, so I don't forget the stuff I just cleaned off. But everybody be safe out there. Hope everybody has a good Friday. We're at least at the end of the week. And then I'll probably see you guys Saturday during the chat on the guest of trade. And again, I'm pretty sure I know what it is now, but I'll wait and mention that in the chat of the series premiere. I'll give you guys the hints that I saw after I was editing again. I had no idea while I was watching it. I was totally drawing a blank. So, but I'm gonna get off here. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. We'll see you on the next one. Boop, boop, boop.